Welcome back, everyone, to the Deep Dive. Today, well, we've got a document that honestly makes most Intel reports look almost mundane.
Yeah.
We are talking about a declassified 1983 CIA document. The title is Pure Bureaucratic Gold: Analysis and Assessment of Gateway Process.
Oh, I know this one. It's pretty wild, isn't it? Prepared for the U.S. Army Operational Group.
Exactly.
And it tries to do something, well, kind of mind-bending. It's assessing the Monroe Institute's gateway experience techniques.
It takes for expanded consciousness.
Right. But using hard physics and biomedical models, it's this clash of, military analysis and really deep, almost philosophical concept.
That's the paradox we need to unpack.
Yeah.
A military assessment tackling whether humans can, literally transcend time and space.
Yeah.
So our mission today is to get through this dense material pretty quickly and look at its, frankly, shocking conclusions. Because, spoiler, the document basically says, yeah, these techniques seem to work.
It really does. It reads like an escalation. They started looking into Hemi-Sync, and the evidence just pulled them towards quantum physics and consciousness studies.
Okay, let's ground ourselves first. The gateway experience, its main tool, is achieving altered states through what they call Hemi-Sync. Brain hemisphere synchronization. How's that described?
So the report sees it as about achieving coherence, getting the brain waves aligned. It does mention other things first, like hypnosis, biofeedback, transcendental meditation.
Right.
But it kind of sets them aside as less controlled. Hemi-Sync is presented as more direct. It uses specific sound frequencies, binaural beats, to actively influence brain function.
Okay, so why would you want to sync the brain hemisphere as the analyst goes into their different jobs, right?
Exactly. You've got the left hemisphere. That's described as our, self-cognitive, very structured side.
The logical part. Verbal, linear.
Yes. Handle sensory input, pain, pleasure, all in that sort of sequential, understandable way.
And the right hemisphere.
That's framed as the non-critical, holistic side. Non-verbal, more emotional, intuitive. It processes things spatially, sees the whole picture, the non-cognitive mind, basically.
The stuff that doesn't fit neatly on a checklist.
Pretty much. So Hemi-Sync uses these specific sound patterns to get the left and right sides working together, in sync.
Same frequency, same amplitude.
Exactly. And when that happens, the document says the participant moves towards expanded awareness. The idea is you break out of just that logical, sort of flat sequence of reality.
You start experiencing things more holistically.
Yes.
Now, this is where I found it gets really wild. The analysis pivots immediately. It's not just about brain function anymore. It asks, what is consciousness?
And the answer they land on is, well, it's not in the brain.
No. They state it's energy. A complex system of energy fields not confined by space.
Right. The analyst argues that all reality, the physical world included, is made of energy grids, these oscillating lattice structures. Consciousness is an energy system interacting with all that.
So we're talking a major philosophical shift, presented as fact in a CIA assessment. The universe as fundamentally information, vibration.
It's huge. They even quote Niels Bohr, the quantum physicist, right near the beginning.
What do you say?
Something like, understanding this paper needs more than just logic. It needs a touch of right brain intuitive insight. It's basically admitting pure materialism doesn't cut it here.
Wow. Okay, so how do they connect this energy theory back to the physical body? They looked at resonance, right?
Well, they needed to ground it somehow.
Yeah.
There's mention of Dr. Twemlow's research suggesting the brain itself resonates within its fluid medium.
Okay.
But the really crucial bit comes from Bentoff's work on the body's base frequency.
What did Bentoff find?
He apparently showed that the entire human body circulatory system skeleton, the whole works, resonates at roughly 7 to 7.5 hertz cycles per second.
Okay, 7.5 hertz. And the significance?
Here's the kicker. That frequency range perfectly matches the resonant frequency of the Earth's ionospheric cavity.
Hold on. So this military assessment is saying that every single one of us, right now, is physically vibrating in sync with the planet.
That's the argument. We're basically talking 7.5 hertz tuning forks, a resonant system within a larger resonant system.
We're antennas.
But no way, yeah. And they take it even further with something called the bifurcation echo.
Bifurcation echo. Sounds complex.
Bentoff's idea was that your heartbeat creates this electromagnetic pulse. It travels up and down the spinal cord, creating a standing wave, and the echo of that wave is linked in the document directly to achieving transcendental states of consciousness. So the body isn't just resonating, it's actively generating the conditions for expanded awareness.
Okay, mind blown number 2. We've gone from sound waves syncing the brain to the body vibrating with the earth. And now the heartbeat potentially triggering transcendence.
It's a chain reaction, according to the analysis.
Which forces the next big conceptual leap in the report.
Yeah.
The universe as a hologram. How does that fit in?
Well, if consciousness is energy and can resonate like this, how does it access information that isn't, stored locally in the brain tissue?
Right, like in remote viewing or accessing past information.
Exactly. The answer they propose is the holographic principle. They cite Dennis Gabor, the Nobel Prize winner who developed it.
Remind us quickly the core idea of a hologram.
In a hologram, any small piece, any fragment, contains the information of the entire image. So if the universe works like that,
then every point contains a whole.
Essentially, yes. The universe is seen as this vast, interacting energy field, a consciousness matrix. And human consciousness is like a smaller piece of that hologram, inherently containing the data of the whole thing.
So if the universe is this giant information matrix, what's our brain doing then? Is it the source?
Nope. Citing Bentoff again, and also Carl Pribram, the brain is framed more like a filter, or a biological computer.
A filter? Filtering what?
Filtering reality. It takes the incredibly complex, multidimensional holographic patterns of the universe and reduces them down.
Reduces them
to the limited, sequential, sort of 3D physical reality we perceive day to day. Our senses are basically chopping down this infinite signal into something manageable.
We're missing most of the picture.
According to this model, yes. Vastly.
Okay, so if our brain is just the filter, what do they call the big, unfiltered reality, the source hologram?
They make a distinction. The reality we normally experience is the time-space dimension. That's where energy is confined, measurable, located. It has boundaries.
Like the physical laws we know.
Right. But beyond that, there's what they term the absolute in infinity.
The absolute.
That's the fundamental, omnipresent reality, energy that isn't confined. No beginning, no end, no location, no motion even. It's eternal, unmanifested potential.
The source code of everything.
Kind of, yeah. The source of all possible holograms. The ultimate cosmic database.
Wow. Okay. So how does Hemi-Sync, which started with just sound frequencies, supposedly lets someone access that, how do you leave time-space?
This is where they bring in the really heavy quantum physics. They talk about Planck's distance. It's the absolute smallest possible unit of length in physics. About 10 to the power of negative 33 centimeters. Try to measure anything smaller, and our known physics breaks down.
It's incomprehensibly tiny. The fundamental pixel of reality, almost.
You could think of it that way. It's the boundary of the material universe as we measure it.
And the connection to Gateway.
The claim in the document is that during these altered states achieved through Gateway, the frequency of human consciousness actually drops below the Planck limit.
Below the smallest possible measurement.
Yes. If your consciousness frequency goes that low, it's no longer measurable within time-space. You effectively transcend this dimension.
You enter what they call intermediate dimensions.
Right. States that exist between our normal reality and that ultimate absolute.
They must have needed some serious justification for that claim to the Army. How could consciousness jump outside time?
They point to quantum phenomena, specifically subatomic communication, or what we might call entanglement.
Ah, the spooky action at a distance.
Exactly. The report describes how when two subatomic particles interact and then separate, they remain connected. If you affect one, the other responds instantly, no matter how far apart they are.
Faster than light communication, seemingly violating time-space limits.
Correct. So the implication drawn is, if consciousness is energy, and you can lower its frequency enough using these techniques, you can achieve a similar state, what the document calls clicking out.
Clicking out.
Detaching consciousness from the physical, measurable body, allowing it to operate or communicate in those intermediate dimensions where time isn't the barrier it is here.
Okay. The scientific, or maybe pseudoscientific framework is laid out. Now, the practical side, the military application.
Yeah.
What's the actual roadmap in the Gateway training?
It's structured through a series of focus levels, numbered states, designed to systematically expand awareness and control over this energy field.
Let's run through the key ones. Focus 10.
That's described as mind awake, body asleep. Basically, deep relaxation, heightened mental focus, shutting out physical noise.
Focus 12.
That's called the state of expanded awareness. It seems to be the threshold needed to really start perceiving and interacting with the energy matrix around you.
Okay, and then it gets, well, pretty ambitious. Focus 15 is defined as travel into the past.
Yeah, and it's important to understand how they frame it. It's not physical time travel in a machine.
It's accessing information.
Exactly, because the universal hologram, the absolute, contains the record of everything that's ever happened. Focus 15 is about training consciousness to retrieve that data.
And the peak state mentioned, Focus 21, is travel into the future.
Which would work on the same principle, accessing the potential future information stored in the hologram. The overall goal in these advanced states is using non-physical senses to interact with reality, reading the cosmic blueprint.
So what specific techniques did they mention for doing these things? Achieving an out-of-body experience, for instance.
Right, the OBE. They describe using that clicking out process we mentioned, reaching a special status where consciousness detaches. It involves learning to direct your body's energy flow, sort of encouraging that separation from the physical form, allowing the consciousness to then move within these other dimensions.
And what about something like, say, problem solving? Highly relevant for the Army, I imagine.
Definitely. They describe a problem-solving technique using Focus 12, that expanded awareness state.
What do you do?
You formulate a fundamental problem and essentially project it outwards into the universe, into the holograms.
With the assumption that
the solution already exists within that universal information field. The answers are expected to come back, maybe not instantly, but downloaded into your awareness, using the absolute as like a cosmic search engine.
And remote viewing.
Yeah.
Accessing information about distant places or events.
Yes, remote viewing. The technique described sounds quite visual, establishing an energy bar tool, a mental construct.
An energy bar.
Yeah, and following the direction of a perceived whirling vortex. It sounds very symbolic.
Like a guided meditation?
But framed as a protocol. These visualizations, the bar, the vortex, are cues to direct the subconscious, the right hemisphere, to go out and gather information from the universal energy field.
It's all about interacting with this energy matrix. What about physical applications like healing?
They mention color breathing and using that energy bar tool for healing purposes, too.
How does that work?
It rests on that core idea. The body is an electromagnetic matrix. If it's out of balance, you can harmonize it by applying specific resonant frequencies represented by colors or visualized shapes like the energy bar. You're tuning your own field.
It all comes back to energy and resonance. So how did the analysts wrap this all up? How is all of history supposedly accessible?
They use the image of the universe as a cosmic egg, which is described as having a torus shape like a giant donut.
The universal donut of energy and information.
Right, and the flow of energy within this torus, especially as time-space evolves within it, creates a continuous pattern, a recording.
The universal hologram again.
Exactly. And the conclusion is that by reaching the highest states, like Focus 21, human consciousness can learn to perceive or read the entire pattern of history, past, present, and future, because it's all imprinted within that cosmic structure.
So after laying all this out, the physics, the techniques, the cosmology, what was the final verdict for the Army? Should they pursue this gateway training?
The bottom line in the report is pretty unequivocal. It states that the fundamental concepts underpinning the gateway training,
consciousness as energy, the hologram, transcending time-space,
are assessed as valid. The study concludes the process is a potentially useful guide for personnel who might need this kind of training.
It's an official validation based on their analysis. They even included a warning, didn't they?
They did. A caution that personnel reaching these advanced states should be intellectually prepared for potential encounters with intelligent, non-corporeal energy forms once they go beyond time-space.
A military intelligence warning about meeting non-physical beings.
It's quite something. An affirmation of potentially transcendent realities couched in the language of physics for the U.S. military.
Which brings us to the final thought for you, listening right now. If this declassified document, written for an Army operational group, uses quantum physics and mathematics to seriously explore and largely validate concepts like out-of-body travel, accessing past and future information, even encountering other dimensional intelligence.
Yeah.
What does that imply about the actual potential locked within your own consciousness?
Yeah.
And maybe, just maybe, the profound limitations of the ordinary waking reality we tend to accept without question every single day.